The views and opinions on the Craig L. Hayes Show do not necessarily reflect those of Westgate Resorts, ownership, or management. And now, on with the show.
Welcome back to It's Showtime, the Craig L. Hayes Show. Welcome back, everybody. It's Showtime, and we're going to continue on with Tony Tauber here here at the Westgate Resort in Las Vegas, and in Elvis Presley's dressing room here in the basement of the International Showroom. So, Tony, we're up to 2004 when we decided to get crazy in this place and start doing some crazy shows and saying, our favorite saying was, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, and then you find out that was it. Gosh. And I think in like the first year that I was here, I got to meet your Sawzall friends. We were tasked with removing the whole speaker soffit in the Shimmer Lounge, and that was quite interesting. Nothing but Sawzalls dropping steel for days.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
No, I had some guys that just really liked using Sawzall.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about Sawzalls, but they surely did enjoy using them.
So we found out the easy way. Once the Milwaukee's got tore up, we get the ones from Harbor Freight, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Use it for a day and then go get another one.
Yeah, for $50, who cares?
Exactly.
Burn them out. No, it's probably Donovan, I'm thinking.
That is
probably on
Oh, yeah, Donovan's right.
Donovan's a madman with those things, man. Yeah, when we put in Manilow and we're bringing down the truss and all that stuff, man, it wasn't even on the ground. He's on top of it, chopping it, bringing all these sets down, and they're barely even touching the deck, on the ground, and he's already over there sawing on them, and breaking them up into pieces. So we had great guys. All these guys are now like Leo Hawk and TJ and all them. Everybody's retired.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
you look back and you go, well, that wasn't that long ago. No, it was like 20-something years ago, guys.
It flies on by. It really
It does.
It's
was like
amazing,
we were all fairly young at that time, and now we're all done. It's passed on to somebody else. So. Some of the shows we used to do here, Wyrick was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
That was a tough one there.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Talking about, he could break anybody's budget.
Yeah.
He did it in such a polite way because he'd go to senior management and give them a song and dance, and okay, we'll pour more money at it, and we'd go again, and it was one thing that didn't work after another with.
Yeah, he had some good things at playing up hearing at the, he had some great illusions, man. It was just couldn't get an audience to come down here from the boulevard to see him. So, and that was a heck of a load in, and shows never did open the show officially.
That's right. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, the joke, because we had done, I don't know if you remember the one called, no, I can't remember. I had it for a second there. It was two guys illusionists.
Oh, yeah, and it was what the heck is that, where they wear the costumes?
Steampunk.
Steampunk.
It was a
costumes.
steampunk show.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, that was an interesting show there. And the joke after a couple times, it was always every time that Craig said, "Hey, we're having a crew meeting upstage by the back door," and every time everybody heard that, "Oh, the show's loading out."
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Show's closed. We're loading it out. And so that's just was the joke there. Yeah. So you were here for how long? You did what, about 10 years here?
Well, from 2005 to 15. To 15 because I retired in 17.
Yeah, because so you did 10 years here,
Yep.
and I always liked you being the boss, because basically you were just like, you handle it, tell me what you need, and it's like, no problem.
Yeah. What was really good for me, besides the showroom and all the other things that were going on labor-wise over in the lounge and the shows, we did a lot of the Hispanic shows with the producer there that happened in the convention center. I had that going on, and I would just come back into Craig would be in the projects here in the theater, say, "You got this." That I was on a need to know basis. If it was really, if there was something that was going on that we hadn't planned for, then Craig would let me know. But it was everything under control. Yep, it was great.
Yeah. Well, that was my job, making yours easier.
And it was.
Yeah.
It certainly did. Some of those challenges over in that convention space, that was incredible. You know, we do those Hispanic shows that would go forever and ever, and just to crowd control and queuing those for entrances. It was a massive ballroom, and we get 7,000 people in 1/3 of it. You know.
Yep.
Yep. Kept
Yeah,
them
those
busy.
were big shows there, and then parking was always the fun thing. Where do you park cars for 5, 6, 7,000 people that are going to go and see a couple Hispanic bands playing out there. Yeah, they don't do those anymore. Those
They don't.
Yeah, we don't do. They don't do the. We did all the fights. Remember all the fights and the
God.
boxing and
Yep.
and the
Oh, yeah.
MMA stuff and all that stuff. We used to do that. They don't do any of that either. It's basically they just do the shows that they have going and book the shows for the showroom and not a lot of big stuff going on like that anymore. So
I'll be darned.
yeah.
Oh, my first year I was here, we did Robert Plant, and that's when
Yes.
Eric was the director of entertainment and said, "Oh, we're putting this in what was going to be Elvis's theater back that never happened. That was in the convention center.
Yeah.
That was going to be where Elvis would perform,
Paradise Event Center. Yeah.
the event center. Well, that was Robert Plant." And that was incredible because all they had was track lighting. It was 3-phase track lighting. So we used that. So it was on 3 circuits. That was it. And you had a limitation. I think it was every 20 foot, there was 60 amps of 3-phase. It was pretty, as far as a power load, it had plenty of power, but access to it and all was only with a lift. And the fixtures all had to have the track plug adapters. So I think we emptied the city out with the adapters. Seriously, and then had to convert them to the plugs that had marked the 3 different phases that would go. It was GE Busway that it plugged into. That was pretty incredible. So we had all that set up, and I had rented Safeway scaffold, the bricklayer's scaffold, and that was going to be used as camera platforms and spotlight platforms. And you were in the theater, and I had a separate crew that was doing the second shift over there, doing the setup, stage, and all. And you brought guys over from the theater, I recall that. But we had the rental house for the Safeway scaffold. Their delivery wasn't on time, and we broke the crew. And so the rental company, this is like an hour after the crew breaks, and the rental company with this is back before, I think I was still as pagers back then. I get pager goes off, and the rental company says, all your scaffolding is here, and they dumped it right behind the Paradise Center, right up against the roll-up door, or alongside of it. And there it sat at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon in the desert facing west, right? And I get a call from the convention guys, and they said, if you don't get this in, right, it'll be gone by morning, because that's just inviting someone to come in. Now we'd really be out of luck. We wouldn't have our scaffold. So I go out to take a look at it. As I recall, Ken Radigan opens up the door, and I say, this couldn't be all that hard if we can get a couple guys from the convention or sound techs. I made the mistake. That was my introduction to the desert. I grabbed a piece of this Safeway scaffold and had like close to 3rd-degree burns from this darn stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was July or whatever it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was god-awful hot. So whoever helped, I remember we got help from Encore, helped at least get it in the door. That was it. And they were using the hand towels and all, because it's a last-minute thing. Just get it inside the building, so we'll have it for the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I missed part of that because I had a scout camp thing I was booked out on, to go up north into Utah to do a scout camp with all the scouts. So I missed out on the actual show, which really bummed me out because I, really wanted to go see the show.
Oh, God. We built bleachers left and right, stage left and right, and we had 3 spotlight platforms, and now load-in day, and there was no rehearsal, and their production manager came up and said, "What are those?" I said, "They're spotlight platforms." He said, "Robert Plant doesn't want any front light on him." And I'm like, "He doesn't want what?" He said, "No front light." So did the concert, and it was only side light from the overhead GE busway lighting. It was fixed, and that was it. That's all we had, and whatever. Their front truss was mostly downlight. It might have been 5 foot in front of the stage, and that was it. But that was his demand. He didn't care. He wanted to see the crowd, didn't want anything blaring him in the face. So much for that.
There was somebody else like that. Jefferson Airplane. What was the guy's name? Lead singer, male. Can't remember his name, but he didn't like front light either. He didn't want spotlights on him. He didn't like being blinded by it. He just it bothered his eyes. He didn't like it. So, yeah, some of them don't like it. I don't know. Some people want to be in the spotlight. Some people, they work all their lives to be in the spotlight, and they don't want the spotlight on them. So I don't know. Kind of weird there, but yeah, we did some pretty cool shows here for the. For those years of 10 years you're here?
Yeah. The other introduction was first year of NFR. That was quite a challenge. Basically, I lived here in a hotel during that time because we did, the first one was 4 days of Brooks and Dunn, and that was always fun and a challenge with Baja and company. And so I get a call, Brooks and Dunn are here for 4 days. And on day one, I get a call, show up back at the loading dock. Their beverage supply is here. They were sponsored, I forget what beer sponsor it was.
Coors.
Coors.
Yeah. They were friends with whatever the guy's name, Coors, his actual name, Coors.
Yeah. Yes. So I get a call, show up back there. We need to get this downstairs, down to the dressing room. Small little elevator. The beer pallet wouldn't fit on that elevator, so it had to be taken off. We put it on room service carts, got it down there, and got it into the secondary dressing room. And so the vendor drops it off, and he said, "Well, I'll see you tomorrow." I said, "What, tomorrow?" He said, "Well, that's for tonight's show."
Yeah, it was like 60 cases. 60 cases of
thing,
beer
yeah.
and hard stuff.
Oh, my God.
Those guys had a party. Every
All
night
night,
was a
yeah,
party,
yeah.
and they brought everybody backstage, and it was a party,
I come in the next morning to do payroll, and there were still hangers on down here.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was
It's
those
a party
guys.
group. Yeah, they just
Those guys partied hard. Those guys knew how to throw a party, and Coors, the actual. I don't know what his first name
Adolph
was.
Coors that was the original.
Yeah, I don't know this guy, but he would actually walk out on stage and just play with those guys. They gave him a cowbell to beat on, and walk out there. And so to them, it was just, we're going to Vegas to have a party. That's all we're here for, It was good stuff, though. That was some fun stuff.
Oh, before I have a photo of, you'll recall this story, is Big and Rich.
Oh, okay.
You remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was John Rich he wanted to change their image and wanted to become the bad guy, wanted to have a bad guy image. So now the deck, what's the stage deck made out of?
EPG.
EPG.
Yeah, it's an epoxy resin stage.
So they've got monitors right down on the apron, and John Rich decides he took the fill tube out of a full bottle of liquor and poured the whiskey into his guitar and lit it on fire. And I was out by the sound booth watching the show, and this thing goes up in flame, and we see somebody, Cowboy Troy was was he the warm-up act or something like that?
Yeah,
But he had this jumpsuit on that was polyester, and if he had gotten into those flames, that would have gone up in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So from stage left, someone came out with a fire extinguisher?
Yeah, but I only heard about it because I was standing backstage, and then I heard on comm, he lit that on fire, and then I started running over there like, what?
Right.
And then somebody already got it with the fire extinguisher, and it's like, yeah, he got a little bit of heat on that one too.
Oh yeah,
fire marshals didn't appreciate that.
fire marshal. I had to call him and make him aware of it the next morning.
Yeah.
That's funny. I remember his name, Glenn Sparks. When I first did my first places of assembly permit, I thought they were putting me on. I'm the new guy, and they said, "Well, you have to get the do the places of assembly permit and take it to the fire marshal, Glenn Sparks." And I thought, oh, okay, I'm getting set up for this one. But as I recall, you pulled somebody away with a fire extinguisher. They were going to, if they had used it, they would have blown it right out into the people that were in the pit.
Yeah, it was, unless you know what you're doing with a fire extinguisher, they can actually become more dangerous than they can be beneficial. So yeah, it was just dumb. It's like, wow.
And I understand they split up, and I understand now they're back together again and all. But so much for the bad guy image.
Your bad guy image is going to be lighting your guitar and speaker, whatever, on fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do realize this place did have a history of fires, and
Yeah. Second to the MGM. This was the biggest one. Yeah.
just a few months later. This was like February. November was the MGM. In February, this place had the fire out in the East Tower out there. So, yeah. Interesting stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah. That was February of '81, and the November of '80 was the MGM.
Wow.
The same 46 years ago. Does that seem possible? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff has gone on. Yeah. We did the beginning of Football Central, like you were talking about a little bit earlier. I was setting up 11 screens in the showroom to watch football, and it was hugely successful. There's so much competition out there right now that they've decided it's not really worth it here.
The sportsbook competition is the sportsbook game is totally
That
totally different.
Circa downtown has really got a big thing going with that, as far as their stuff, and they've done a good job there. And they changed what it was set up to be, because different management comes in different time, because over the time periods things just change, and it went from being. Remember how they started off? It was the $2 or $3 hot dog, $3 beer, draft beer.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And they got rid of that, and it went to $8 or $10 hot dog and $7 beers and stuff like that. So basically, part of that draw gets lost.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Football Central was such a big draw initially. I know when we put it together, it was the one seamless screen was the full width of the proscenium.
Yeah,
and that was like 30-some foot tall. That was made in Germany. Remember when it came in and hung that? So we'd show 11 games at once.
Yep.
One of the main game that would have sound with it, and then there were quad splitters on the video projectors, so there'd be 4 games on either side, and then the side stage screens would each have a single game.
Yep.
Packed. The initial first 2 or 3 weeks of Football Central every year, standing room only, and the security would have clickers to count, so we wouldn't go over capacity and all of that. It was a big thing at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nothing like it. So that was, I think that was Rick White's baby, wasn't it?
It was Rick's. We came up with the budget, and I remember it was like making the presentation. That had to go to Rudy Prieto at the time, and that there were so many other things. Manilow had just opened, and now it was like, can we do a football package? And you would come up with a way to hang all those banners on the side for all the beverage promotions, whether it was Miller Lite or whatever.
Yeah.
So
whoever it was that year.
We do a show Saturday night, and then you had the crew stay, and we'd preset all the stuff for Football Central. That was a whole to-do. Wound up like a whole ballet.
Yep.
Everything was stored in the back. Okay, hang these here, hang those there, and you come back a couple hours later. I think the call was like 8 a.m. to go back in and start again.
Yep.
And then run football all day, and then take it apart, and oftentimes do a show that night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to showbiz, folks.
That's it.
That's what it is. It's you become a slave to the building when you take one of these jobs. So never complained. I was always good with it.
Yep. And then it was I left after those years and went to Tropicana, and so while I was there at the same position, the tech director, all the sports books when it came time for March Madness. That was a absolute nightmare because they had a lot of every one of their monitors, everything was direct TV, and because March Madness is so big, those final weeks, there are alumni come to all the bar areas and the whatever college you're from, their team is playing, and I'd get a call from beverage or food and beverage and whatever. This is broken, that's broken. The people would see the name of the TV manufacturer on the screen, turn their smartphone into a controller, and put the game on that they wanted on direct TV. So we'd have to go in and break up a fight in there, and it was incredible. I did not look forward to March Madness at all.
No, well, I think they're still going to do that here. You know, the first couple days. First couple days are always really good. Really
Draw.
And then I think the second day is, next 2 days when it's down to the 16 games or whatever there's left or whatever there is. That's when it starts thinning out real quick. You know, within 2 days, basically you're down to 32, and then after 2 more days, you're down to the 16, your Sweet 16. So it's then just every time you have a game, you just lose you lose half of them.
Pins out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
You
it.
go from 64 down to 4 real quick. You know.
It was interesting. Been here 4 or 5 days and just driving around and seeing the changes, like just opposite the Wynn and Encore now is Vegas World. None of those high rises. I've been away 8 years. None of that has been here. Fontainebleau now is completed. That just set as a skeleton and all, and just pretty incredible. How it's all, and the Sphere. That's the big draw.
You're going tonight to that.
I'm going to go check it out, see the Wizard of Oz. I saw online there's short little clips that you can see online of like the Eagles and Backstreet Boys and all that. But they said as far as the theatrical presentation, that Wizard of Oz is the one to see. So we're going to check that out at 8 o'clock tonight.
Was that about $100 or something?
Oh, it's more than that. It's anything, if you get closer aligned to center, it starts at 2 and change. So
Man.
So it's a bucket list item, you know, and
I have it on DVD. I'll watch it there.
Exactly, yeah. So, but there's so much prep too. You have to find the correct place to park because queuing apparently is incredible, and they don't hold the doors for anything. It's 8 o'clock starts whether everyone's there or not.
Good.
So that's always, I know that was one of your pet peeves all the time. We would hold a lot of the shows depending on the promoter. They come up, we need another 10. And some of the acts, they'd still be up in the dressing room.
Yeah. It was like, if it's an 8 o'clock show, let's start at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care if there's people in the room or not. People are told it's 8 o'clock, you know. That was always one of my pet peeves. It's like, well, we still have, 50 or 80 people in line coming in. Well, you got 1,500 in here, so you're telling those 1,500 that they're not as important as the 80 that are in line.
Yeah, exactly.
That's ridiculous. Just the thought process behind that sometimes is like, that's the dumbest thought process that I've ever seen. So, I was used to, because I came from Splash, and Splash was a 7:30 and 10:30. It started at 7:30 and 10:30. It didn't matter what it was going on or anything,
Yeah.
We were only late one time on Splash, and that's the year that UNLV won the Final Four because the crew refused to leave the room until they watched the end of the game.
Oh.
And so we started like 8 minutes late.
Wow.
And they're like, we got to start. Nope.
That was back in the days of Tarkanian, right?
Yeah.
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 Wow.
As soon as the game was over, it's like everybody ran out and got ready, and the curtain went right out, and we started. But, it was like, nope, we're not starting it.
That was a Jeff Kutash show.
Yes.
And we had done, that was open here in Vegas. We had Kutash had done a show at the Playboy that ran. It was a 18-month contract. So that was quite a challenge as well.
Yeah. Well, why don't we stop right there? And, oops, my thing didn't wake up here. Wake up. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's me clicking through this. Anyway, let's take a little break here, and then we'll come right back and we'll wrap up this interview with the final episode. And folks, will be right back.
You're listening to It's Showtime, the Craig L. Hayes Show.